It's our favorite time of the year, back to school. I mentioned to somebody, one of my colleagues, it's like our Christmas. And I didn't get the response that I was expecting, but it's still our favorite time of the year. We're going to do a brief presentation for you this afternoon, just go through the highlights of what's new for this school year, particularly what we think our parents and your audiences might be interested in. We're going to kick it off with our superintendent, Dr. Fennoy. The rest of the chiefs will go through the highlights in their division, and then we'll open it up for questions. So we'll go through the entire deck, and then we'll open it up for questions. Dr. Fennoy?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am very excited about the opening of schools. So this is my first official opening of schools as superintendent. And I just couldn't be more thrilled, obviously, as a parent as well. So taking advantage of the weekend to go shopping for my own children, and I'm sure other parents in the community are as well. So just a few things I wanted to share before I turn it over to the rest of the team. This year we anticipate a student enrollment in excess of 195,000 children, and that'll be pre-K through 12. That'll be 179 district-run schools and 48 charter schools. We have over 153 languages spoken in all of our schools. Something that is unique to us as well, there will be about 30,000 adult ed programs students also as part of our adult ed program. So we are officially an organization that runs day and night, and that is something very unique and very beneficial to our overall community. It's also important to understand that our board is going through the process of approving a budget right around $3 billion. If you haven't heard, we are an A school district. And this is just a testament to everyone you will hear from today and all the employees in the district, from transportation all the way through our fine and wonderful teachers and administrators. But the unique part about our A is that, we're one of 20 districts. Matter of fact, we're number 13 in the state of the A school districts. And we have the most growth of all the large urbans, especially in 3 of the areas. And so our hope is, as we continue this year, not only do we continue to have great work in the areas where we are leading, but also in the one area that we are tied for second. And this is sort of just a PowerPoint to kind of show and demonstrate that. Miami-Dade also crossed that line with the A this year. But our goal this year will be to hold on to these rankings and to continue to push and close the gaps that have been identified in our data as we think about our strategic plan and keep moving that work forward. It's also important for you to understand that 65% of our elementary schools are rated an A or a B. That's up 5% from last year. 67% of our middle schools are rated an A or B. That's up 9%. And 68% of our high schools are rated an A or B, and that's up 5%. The math translates into a district that is really doing well, and we want to continue that work and keep pushing every day to make sure that all of our children have access to a high-quality education. Now, before I turn it over to our Chief of Police, Chief Kitzrow, it's very important for me to say again publicly how thankful I am to the sheriff and all of our municipalities who have done a great job of working collaboratively with us to make sure that our schools will be covered every school will be covered this year by a police officer. This has been a journey in terms of making sure we met this mandate over the 5 months that I've been superintendent. But again, the team has worked hard. I want to thank everyone for their hard work in making this happen. And at this time, I will begin the rest of our presentations with Chief Kitzrow.
Thank you, Dr. Fennoy. Again, I'm Frank Kitzrow, Chief of Police here for the Palm Beach County School District Police Department. And so, as you probably all know, I've only been here like 4 weeks, a month or so. It's been a pretty busy month. So just to go over some of the highlights, we began by restructuring our police operations to align with the district regions. So they're all working together in teams, communicating in the same language and tackling the same kind of challenges and issues together. As you know also, we've been actively recruiting and hiring additional police officers. That number is at 75 that we're working to obtain this year. The main point, and this is the thing that I think that has caused the most challenges for us, and I'm happy to say that we will have a police officer present at every single school in Palm Beach County, every one of the Palm Beach County School District schools. As you know, for those that were here the other evening, we swore 9 officers on August 1st. We'll have another 2 or 3 coming up this coming week, and we have 50 candidates in the screening process. Obviously, our goal is to get the school police officers hired, sworn in, and trained and deployed in those schools as quickly and efficiently as possible. We do have security agreements with local law enforcement and the Sheriff's Department to cover our schools. We've been working on continuity of operations, making sure that we're all working together and doing what's in the best interest of our students. In terms of the potential threat of an active shooter, we've enhanced our training this past summer so that now our officers are trained to go after and neutralize the threat based solely on their own initiative and not waiting for anyone else to arrive. That's a pretty tall order, and I'm really proud of the officers as they've gone through this training this year. We're also working on the technology piece. It's important for us, and we'll have it ready to go by the first day of school, that we're not going to be working in silos. We'll be able to have all of our school police officers connected with each other in terms of sharing information, communication, those types of things. And in addition, I'm sure some of you saw on the way in that we had some new equipment. We had the new police cars out front, and hopefully you met our K-9 officer out there as well. So I want to make sure that we're clear that we're going to have all of our campuses covered all year long. We're looking at 44 officers from municipalities, 10 deputies from the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, and 135 school district police officers deployed to accomplish this mission. And I want to give a particular thanks to our local law enforcement partners. They've been really amazing to work with. We continue to work together as we move forward, and that's Boca Raton, Boynton Beach, Delray Beach, Juno Beach, Jupiter, Lake Clark Shores, Lantana, North Palm, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm Springs, PBSO, Riviera Beach, and West Palm. I wanted to take the time to read all those because I want you to understand that this is extraordinary times, and for everyone to come together like this and do what we're doing really speaks volumes about how these law enforcement agencies, their city managers, their mayors, their city councils, have all come together to make sure that we're putting the best interest of our school children forward. And as we are working here in the district, it's been a real collaboration among departments, and it's been a great honor to work with these folks. But one thing that's really important for a message I'd like to get out there for all of our parents and students and faculty is that when it comes to safety, it's important for all of us to maintain and participate and lead the way in safety. So when people ask me what is school safety, my response is I'm school safety, and you're school safety, and your children are school safety, and all of us are school safety. And if we all work together, we increase the likelihood for a successful outcome, with the ultimate goal being that every school day is a safe day. And with that, I'll turn it over.
Good afternoon. My name is Wanda Paul, and I am the Chief Operating Officer for the district. I want to speak to you on security of our schools. I wanted to refresh your memory on security enhancement components. You've heard a lot of conversation about single point of entry, fences and gates, access control readers, and so forth. We are making sure that we provide each of these components to all of our schools. Some have more than others, and so we're prioritizing based on need. We've completed 18 security enhancement projects. You can see the schools that are indicated here. Basically, by the end of August 2018, which is fast approaching, we would have completed 18 school projects. 20 projects are in the procurement and design phase, and 36 projects have been fully funded, assessed, and are slated for initiation. We have completed the safe rooms in several of our schools. It's been in the media, so you're pretty much aware of that. And we've installed, in the completion of those projects, we've installed 44 new doors, frames, and lock sets, and new and existing partitions. 72 classrooms have been impacted by these improvements. We removed 20 exit signs and replaced modified 31 lock sets. I'll turn it over to our HR chief.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Gonzalo Lacaba. I'm the Chief of Human Resources, and this is a very exciting time for all students, including my son and daughter, because this is a time when they're going to get to meet their new teachers. And the Human Resources Division, for the last 6 to 8 months, we've been recruiting heavily, from Puerto Rico to Florida to the United States. And I'm here to tell you just a quick results about what we've done in those 6 to 8 months. So as you can see, we've hired over 1,000 teachers so far, and we're continuing to process more and more. And of course, non-instructional, which includes bus drivers, that's about 446 bus drivers, including other positions as well. So as a free marketing component, I would just want to make sure that if there's anybody out there that's thinking about getting back into the classroom or wants to teach, we are open to continuing to hire you. Bring your resume. We will use you for sure. So as you can see, we have needs in elementary education, special ed, science, math, English, and reading, and so we're constantly recruiting. And then the last thing that I want to talk to you about is our Teacher Fest. Our professional development department did an amazing job in collaboration with many other divisions. We saw over 800 teachers come and be part of a huge professional development day. They got to meet district leaders. They were able to share their stories, hear about just the process of our district, and just learn. And it was a fun time, and we got to see a lot of new faces. So that's Human Resources in a couple of minutes. So I'm going to turn it over back to Wanda. Thank you very much.
In case you've forgotten, my name is Wanda Paul. I'm Chief Operating Officer for the district, and I want to talk about transportation. Again, please don't hit our yellow buses. They're yellow, very highly visible, so do not hit them, even by mistake. Don't hit them. We have 157 new buses that we recently purchased. 655 bus routes for 2018-2019. We reduced them compared to the previous year. Improved efficiency equals we'll get the kids to school on time. That's our goal. We've done practice run. We did them Friday, and we have another one coming up August 8th. Again, don't hit our yellow buses, please. And then the routes are combined to create more efficiency that helps us get the kids to school on time. All the school routes are posted as of today, August 6th. Parents can look at their routes or find their routes on Find My Bus, which speaks for itself. We do have a website, and we've gotten quite a few hits, 30,000 hits, and since it's been posted, so that's pretty remarkable. I think we had about 60,000 after the first day of school, or 16,000 hits rather, so I think we're on track. I think we'll exceed that. People are actually, and parents are actually using the website, which is remarkable and great. The transportation call center is active from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and we have 3 languages available, English, Spanish, and Creole. So that's pretty outstanding. The next thing I want to talk to you about is food service. We have the same lunch prices as we did last year. We feed breakfast to all of our kids, which is really great. And also Allison, who is our director of food service, wanted me to show you this brochure, Energize School Meals, and it has all the meals and so forth posted. And now I'll turn it over to our Deputy Superintendent, Keith Oswald.
Thank you, Wanda. Yeah, Keith Oswald, Deputy Superintendent, Chief of Schools. I want to give an update just on some of the programs that are going on around the social-emotional aspect of the school district, as well as academic programming. First, in the social-emotional arena, we heard loud and clear from our community in the development of our strategic plan that social-emotional learning had to be a priority. So we do have standards that have been adopted by our district, and this year we're expanding to actually implement some curriculum around social-emotional learning called Second Step. In addition, what came out of the Stoneman Douglas Act, but something the district was already working on, was youth mental health first aid training. So this training is how do we really destigmatize mental illness, and how do we equip teachers, principals, any one of us here in the room with the skills and strategies to have, the conversations with kids, understanding areas where kids may experiencing some mental distress, and hook them up with some conversations that are very supportive and with services that we can connect them to. When it comes to mental behavioral health, a lot is going on in the school district this year with some changes. There was funding that was allocated around equipping more dollars to mental behavioral health. So what you'll see different this year is we're working on staffing 2 crisis mobile teams that the district will have those support services that can go out to a school in the event of a crisis situation. In addition, we're working with some of our agencies that we've worked with throughout the district. We have 34 mental behavioral health agreements that provide supports for kids who need more intensive supports. We're expanding those school-based services this school year. Also part of this act, parents will be asked on the new registration form if their child has ever been referred for mental health services. So you'll see that as a change, providing additional social workers, provide support to our families. Some big changes in that area. I'm going to switch now and move more into educational technology. Some new exciting equipment. Part of this penny sales tax, the half-cent that the school district receives, you're going to see some significant changes right in our classrooms, from the audio enhancements and how there's a lot of research about how kids hear what's happening in a classroom. We're going to see upgrades to that, LCD projectors, our interactive flat panels, which we're very excited. You'll see an example of that right over here to my left. Those will be in many of our classrooms, eventually all of our classrooms throughout the school district, and teachers are being trained in how to use those flat panels as we speak. And as we talk about that, using technology, this piece of equipment could just sit in the classroom, or it could really enhance students' learning. And that's what we want to make sure we're having. So our Leading with Technology Trailblazers program is happening throughout all of our schools. We started last year with secondary. We expanded with elementary this year about how do we really use the technology that we're provided to really meet students' needs. Our district, it leads the nation when it comes to number of Google certified educators, well over 1,100 individuals in our district, so we're pretty proud of that. So we think we're doing a really good job really training our teachers of how to use this technology in the classrooms. And we're seeing more and more Chromebooks, more and more technology that students can use to actually enhance their training. Also, again, moving into the choice and career area, there's a number of new programs that are going on in our schools. We're expanding dual language at North Grade Elementary, which is going to turn into a K-8 school. So the 6-8 will be for around dual language, as well as at LC Swain and Forest Hill High School. So the actual dual language program itself. Schools that have been working on IB for a number of years will be going for the application to get full certification at Watkins, Palmetto, and Grove Park. Very excited about Palm Beach Lakes and the Firefighting Academy that we're starting out this year, as well as a partnership with our Riviera Beach Prep Academy, where students that are in any other program can work on construction at that school. Also, some of our schools are rolling up to K-8, so in addition to North Grade, we see at Hidden Oaks, we're phasing in the 7th grade and conservatory through 9th grade. And when it comes to adult education, also expanding some really cool opportunities of how do we really feed the workforce, and we know in these areas, commercial driving, forklift driving, et cetera, plumbing, are some new programs that we're going to see as well. In actual curriculum that's new this year, science has been adopted, so we have some great new science materials, STEM scopes, that are going to be supporting our teachers and students in the classroom. All web-based, online for teachers are getting training throughout this year, since May and throughout this week, so that they're ready for the kids come Monday. A lot of changes when it comes to testing. Big piece is in grades 3 to 6. We are now completely paper-based testing. Most of the other areas are the same. The big piece is really the window of when testing occurs. So the actual true testing that we're used to, all of that will occur after May 1st. There is the actual writing portion of the assessment that will start in April. And in your documents, you'll see the actual, each of the grade level, what's paper-based versus computer-based testing, and the outline of when each of the assessments will occur. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Schuyler.
In case you missed it, towards the end of the school year, we stepped into this century and we went mobile. That's a big deal for this district. When we rebuild websites, we have to rebuild 179 of them, and we have to make sure that all of their content gets transferred. We started with a mobile app where parents will be able to find everything from the lunch menu to the school calendar to a directory to a Map My School. And then we started with the school websites where they were also mobile friendly. So as parents move between the school website and the district app, they shouldn't realize that they're leaving platforms. And finally, all the websites are very similar in user experience. So a parent with 3 children in 3 different schools should be able to find the same thing in similar locations without it being a scavenger hunt every time they need to find something on the website. And for any of those of you who have ever had parents and children, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So again, mobile browser-friendly websites, they all have the same look and feel, but they still are true to their school colors and brand. Not a project in communications, but one we're very proud of is the SIS Gateway. Thank you to those of you that came to cover that Friday. The coverage over the weekend, I think, was very helpful in getting the word out to parents. But starting today, letters are being mailed home to all parents in the district with instructions about how to claim their parent gateway and to log in to see their child's grades, schedules, etc. in real time. Schedules are not live yet, but they will be starting on Monday of next week or earlier, depending on the school. And parents and students will find it right from the homepage if that's where they want to log in. To bring it home, we would be remiss if we did not talk a little bit about the referendum that you all have heard something about. When we're finished, we're going to turn it over to Kathy for questions. We want to make sure you get everything you came for today. So we'll take questions for a group, and staff will stay for one-offs as well. We can also demo the interactive flat panels and some of the Chromebooks also. So hang out when we're finished. Mike?
Good afternoon. My name is Mike Burke. I'm the Chief Financial Officer, and I just wanted to remind everyone that the school district has a very important question that's going to be on the November 6th general election ballot. We are asking the community voters to actually restore a portion of school taxes that have been cut by the Florida legislature in recent years. Funding in Florida has fallen. I've mentioned this many times, but we've fallen from 36 in the country to 44th as of 2016, and I expect that to continue to fall because of this insistence by the legislature to continue rolling back our school taxes. So this is of great importance to our school district. We were scheduled to go back to the voters to continue a quarter mill levy, and that quarter mill levy is paying currently for over 650 art, music, PE, career education, and choice teachers. And the board's decision there was either to continue the quarter mill or to go for some additional millage to address other high priority needs. And that was the ultimate decision. We are asking for a full mill that would not only continue to fund the 650 teachers and allow us to expand those programs to some extent, but we'll dedicate a quarter mill to school safety. That's both school security and mental health. School security, you'll see more police officers. We'll have more than just one per school. We'll have multiple officers at our larger middle and high schools. We'll be able to outfit our officers with all the required safety equipment and vehicles and upgrade our police fleet. We'll be able to provide school monitors and police aides to help with supervision of the campuses and parking lots. And then the mental health piece is equally important. We'd be able to actually provide a mental health behavior coach position to every school, so 179 of them across the district, and then also hire additional school psychologists, counselors, and mental health clinicians across the district to make sure the students get those services. And then lastly, half of the millage levy would be dedicated to improving teacher pay, where we provide retention supplements to retain our experienced teachers. So that's the big question on the ballot. The success of that referendum is going to have a major impact on the mood for next year's back to school meeting, right? This would be effective for FY20 through FY23, and I think I've covered it. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Kathy Bernstein. Thank you.
All right, I think there's one more slide. We would be remiss if we did not ask you to follow us on social media. I know many of you are already, but we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Pinterest is is happening. Follow us, follow Dr. Fenoy, and with that, any questions? Lois.
Will parents notice big changes when they walk on campus this year, or are the changes really obvious in security, or is it very subtle and parents won't notice?
I'm going to have Ms. Paul take that one. Thank you.
I think it's both. I think we'll have some things that parents won't see with the naked eye, and then we'll have the police officer in every elementary school this summer, which is a noticeable change. And then also kind of the stacking on the street as parents are trying to get into school. You may see increased time to get, to go through those lines. That's, I just want to give them that expectation. So yeah, I think it's both. I think it's both. Some things are, you'll see right off. Other things are more subtle, like additional cameras and so forth.
Thanks. Andrew? Yeah.
This is like the lines for drop-off, you mean?
Right. Just the lines to drop your child off in the morning and so forth. We've had a couple of parking lot modifications and so forth to help with the stacking. But yeah, it's probably going to take a little bit more time to get in to drop your child off.
Okay, any follow-up? Andrew?
You mentioned 246 teacher vacancies. When are those expected to be full, and is there be shortage in the classroom? What does that mean exactly?
A great question. We have about 246. We're still actively recruiting. And if we get to the first day of school and we don't have those teachers, we have a plan in place. We'll start looking at our central office staff. We'll look at some of the learning community staff. And if all else fails, we also have about 1,000 substitute teachers that are ready to get on board and do some of their best teaching.
How does that number compare to previous years?
We're about the same, probably by the end of September, we'll have about 1,500 teachers. We're on that same rate. We're less than 2.0 vacancy rate, but which we've been in the past as well.
Are all the schools, I remember covering the hurricane, there was some schools that still had some damage when they let out for school. Are all those back in full function?
Wanda, you want to take that one?
So we had a tremendous amount of fencing that we had to replace. In addition to the security element of it, we also had the hurricane that we were dealing with. So we're pretty close to being complete with replacing those fences. We assessed whether they were, vital to security. Some back up to a heavily dense area and no one's going to come through there. But we've tried to put that in the forefront in terms of making people feel that they're secure.
Of the 75 new officer positions, how many of those are filled to date with, people who have been hired this morning?
I'll have Chief Kitzerow answer that.
I'm sorry, was a question of the 75, how many are filled?
Yeah, how many of those 75 openings have been filled to date?
Probably about 15 of those right now.
Any other questions? All right, if not, flat panels there for you guys to test out. Any questions? We have about 10 minutes.